This is what Ivy League universities you can get into with a 3.6 GPA.
90% of students with a 4.0 plus.
Down and let's get ourselves in. Oh, I didn't get my hat on. Look, everybody, I got hair. All right, I'm gonna go get my my hat. We got busy looking at stuff. Where is my hat, dude? Hold on. Okay, so man, that was 2 days ago, huh? And we were here. Oh, I'm wearing my. I'm not even wearing my Ardan shirt, dude. I'm wearing my dog shirt here. Okay, so let's see. When we were here last Tuesday, we had a nasty little bug that you wanted after the show to start fixing, and I said, no, bad Kevin. We're not going to do any work unless we're live.
Yeah.
Okay, that was not good, dude. So we haven't done anything yet. But we're going to look at this right now, right? There we go. So I know how bad you wanted to fix this, but we had to wait, dude, right? We had the ping pong. It's not working 100%. And what we're seeing is during the ping, we're removing a user. And I think that's what was causing some nastiness, right? We also know that we didn't get a ping from the client. That's what I thought was happening. I thought they were sending us a ping. Or they were sending us a pong and we weren't doing a ping. And then the client was dropping. But what looks like is happening is during this process, we're removing a user because we don't think that they've given us back a ping pong, a pong. So that's what we've got to study right there. And I think one of the things I wanted to do to study that, remember also we moved all the chat logic in chat too, right?
Yeah.
So this is what happens when the client sends us the pong. This is what happens when we set the ping handler for ping messages received from the peer. But this isn't happening. We're probably going to take this out. I don't think we need to do this. But what's happening here is, remember, we're supposed to retrieve, and then we're supposed to update the last Pong.
Yep.
And then somewhere down here, we have our go routine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we go back and look at that thing here, we're doing a chat remove inside of a ping started. So if we look at that, my guess is we were doing here. But maybe this is what I added before we ran it again, is this last Pong max wait. So we're going to have to run the system again. We're going to look for this to happen again. And we're going to have to just continue to debug, you know, what's going on there with all of that. So let's see if we can get us back into that state, right? I can do this real quick. So up here, what was our make command on this project for running everything? That was chat run.
And chat hack.
So we do the make chat run. There it is. Right now, I just need the one connection to sort of solve this problem.
Mm-hmm.
Control U. Come on now. Whoa. I don't know what's going on. Control U should have cleared it. Make this. Okay, so of course it would help if we were in that project, wouldn't it? Which I thought I was trying to do. All right, dude, I just came off another project. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. So ping started, a Pong came in, and we updated the user.
Mm-hmm.
So the last Pong now is right now 11:05, whatever that is, 29. So let's see. I didn't think it took long for this to happen. So we know that the Gorilla Toolkit was auto-magically sending Pongs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 11:05. I don't feel like we got another Pong started completed.
When we did it the other day, it felt like it was like 30 seconds before it would crash.
I know, but okay, there's another ping. So there's our ping and then the Pong.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably, just for our logging right now, mark who we're pinging. Because just having ping started completed is good. I mean, we know it ran, but we don't really know what it did. Again, it would be a lot of noise over time, but
Yeah.
all right. So now that's fine. Let's see what happens again on the next one. Ping, ping, Pongs. Okay. Yeah, at some point, we just see a drop, and we shouldn't be seeing a drop. Boom. It just happened. So
Yep.
look at what happened here. We did it. See, last Pong was 11.6. Max wait, that's not a good number. That doesn't help us. I also want to put the time in this log. But exactly what we talked about. Like, that's happening.
Yep.
Right there. Last Pong. So for some crazy reason, unknown to us right now, right? I needed this time dot now in here. And then the max wait is in duration time. So it was supposed to be 10 seconds, right? I mean, it's a very large number there. What we could have, info could have treated that as a string since it's a duration, and it would have printed better. But we know that's 10 seconds. So problem is I didn't do this. So when I look at this log line, the last Pong was at 6:39, say 50, right? But I don't know what the time was. So that didn't help me on this log. So we're gonna have to fix that for sure. But we think for some reason time.since, right, and it is shorthand for time now sub. So whatever the time now was. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be off by seconds if I just do that for the current. But, you know, if we wanted to be a little bit more accurate, we can do t dot sub here. Oh, wrong place. I could do t dot sub there, and then do t here, just to just be more accurate in terms of what we're looking at. All right, change the duration of t dot u, t minus u, which is good. T should always be greater than u, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we do that, then I can log t at least right now. It's just weird because we saw I was clearing it. So I'm not going to clear it next time so we can look. But the other thing I'm going to do, just so we've got a record of it, we're going to be sending this ping to that ID, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, noise, but at least right now we'll have status sending ID. And then I think we can stitch the rest of this sort of together because we are on the Pong side marking the update.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if I go back to the Pong side. So I'm also going to do this. I'm going to get rid of this ping and ping. Okay. I'm also going to do this. I'm going to take this function. This is chat. I'm going to call it Pong. Now, when we call Pong, we're going to need to pass it we're going to need it to return a function. So I'm going to have to do a Pong that takes an ID, which is a UUID, and we're going to have it return a function. Hold on. What is that? It already has a function type if we look at this. Oh, of course, it's just a like that, which is what I was already doing. So the idea is that this returns this, and then function that takes an app returns an error. And then we return an F. Return an F. We do this right. So where did you go? So now this is just an ID. We'll pass that in for this particular handler. Good. Return F. So I just want the ping function and the Pong function next to each other, just for like symmetry in what we're looking, instead of just using it as a literal function up there. It will, the Pong function returns a function that has the signature that we need. And now this is just the ID. If that errors out, whatever. We have the Pong information started, completed. We have the username there. And we've got the update, which, you know, if there was an error, we would see it here. Now, we'd log it. And we didn't see that. So I just want to keep the ping and the Pong together. I hate when things are sort of disconnected there. So now what happens here is if I get rid of this literal function, now we can just call c.pong passing in the user ID. And now we're setting sort of the Pong here, right? After that. So this is a function that returns a function to set the handler. But now if I'm looking for ping and Pong logic, I just go to the bottom. And it's like Pong's up here, ping's down there.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going crazy, right? And now that it's also just one line, you know, maybe we just do that. So remember our handshake is the upgrade, we write, we read on Marshall, we add. We send the welcome, and then we're done. And ideally, even we can sort of do all the operational stuff and then send the welcome. So now, if I come down here, I've got our ping logic next to our, how nice is that? How do we go bop, bop, bop? Just
Now they're next to each other.
they're here, they're next to each other. And this will be a little bit better thing to deal with. No, you know, another cool little thing we can do, because this Pong, so here's another cool thing that we can do. And it has to do with the trace ID being 0, right? So remember in the web package, we set the trace ID, and then it can do a get trace ID, right? So, if we make this exported on our version of the web package here, all right? Because it's the get trace ID that's going to be important here. Another thing that we can do is use web.setTraceID given this background context, and we can say UUID new, and that returns a context here. Now, what will be nice is every time this handler runs, we'll have a unique ID for that user, as opposed to zeros, because if this things start coming in at the same time, that's not good. And we can do the same thing now too here. Give this go routine its own sort of trace ID instead of 0. That stays in the loop there, but at least there will be a trace ID in this context that we're using, and we should be able to see the log for that. But this one will happen every time it's sort of called. And so in case we get multiple logs, we can stitch it together. All right, so we're trying to figure out, we needed to add more logging again. We're trying to figure out why we're 10 seconds between the last pong and the ping. It don't make sense to me at any level, again, from what we're seeing. So we're gonna run this again. Let me kill this here. We're gonna run this again. And this time I'm not gonna clear the screen. That way we've got a whole history of logs going on. We know that in about 30 seconds, it's not gonna be good, but update the user, all right, 1623. Update the user, 1633. We're running that every 10 seconds.
Yep.
And as that runs every 10 seconds, we might be on the edge of the 10-second thing, maybe. Because we do a ping sending, right, to that ID, which is always that user. Ideally, they're supposed to respond almost immediately on the pong. And then we update that. So if we look at this one here, ping, within like microseconds, we get the pong and we update the user, right? So there's the ping, we got the immediate pong. The time is the same on the timestamp for the log, right?
Yeah.
Ping, whoa, it just happened here.
There it is.
So let's study this one right now. Okay, so here's where we are. Last pong, 11/17/23. Well, that would have been here, 11/17/23.
Yeah.
So that's right. Current time is 11/17/33.7469. So the current time is technically microseconds greater than the 10-second mark. See what's happening here?
Yeah.
We've got this thing. So we're doing a ping every 10 seconds. Let's just double check what's going on here. We do a ping. Ping started. Okay, here was the last ping. Ping started. So we send it. We get back the pong,
Yeah.
and the pong says, okay, 1723, boom, done. Now, we send a ping, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
It's over the max weight.
yeah, but it's not the pong's fault, is it? It's not the pong's fault.
The pong still came back like it should.
It did. It's a timing issue with our ping and pong. So I'm wondering. Okay, there's two thoughts going through my head. Maybe we should be recording the time we send the ping
Okay.
instead of using now. Because really what this is about is from the time we send the ping, has it been 10 seconds before we receive the pong? Because they sent their pong in at 1723. But now we wake up and it's 1733.74, right?
Mm-hmm.
We would have sent, if we recorded this number here, 1723.746, okay? Then we would have checked this number against this number here. And they would have been under 10 seconds on a pong.
Yeah.
So that's our problem. Problem is we can't be using now. We're going to have to do the following. We need a last ping time here too. We got to compare the time we sent the ping to the time we received the pong, not current time.
Oh,
Especially
okay.
if the system gets busy.
Yeah.
Can't do that. So if we go back a second, we had a update command, update last pong, right? Which just took current time. So we can do this, update last
Ping.
ping. And this would set a ping value there.
The function name.
Yeah, that would help too. So that would be the update last ping, update last pong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we come back here. We add an update last ping. And now, if you go back to Pong, right, we do this. Okay, but now if we go to ping,
We're gonna do the same thing.
we're going to
for
do
ping.
this. And then if that fails, updating the last Pong should never fail. How could it possibly fail? Oh, because the user doesn't exist or something,
Mhm.
right? In this case, though, all we ever do is use the ID, don't we? See the inconsistency of what I'm doing here?
Yeah.
It's not good, is it? On this side, we don't really have usernames, do we?
That needs to be update last ping.
So ideally, we really should be doing sort of this consistency, right? And I think we can do that.
Shouldn't that be update last ping?
Yeah, it should.
Okay.
I just liked hearing you say it, so.
Oh, okay.
My brain went off. Now, there's more inconsistency here too, right? So if I'm going to do this because I want to see it, let's just do it. Now, I was using username here as a way of helping in the logs, but I mean, honestly, we don't really know who people are at the end of the day. So I think what we should do is be consistent with what we did on ping. And with ping, we just do the ID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we had status completed, which is fine. Or status started and completed, which is fine. And then here, again, I'm just going to get rid of name. I don't think it's adding value, spending time logging that. And then when there was an error, I got to look at that real quick. ID. Yeah, it's always the same ID, right? So and then either we're going to use capital error or we're not going to use capital error. So this is something we're going to have to look for. We got to make a choice. I like capital error because sometimes people might use the word error in a message, but we're the ones using capital error, and we know that it's like one of ours, right?
Got it. Okay.
So, you know, anywhere I see that, right, we should just basically be consistent. It's all about being consistent at the end of the day. And if you're trying to do something that you can't even be consistent with, how can you expect anybody else on your team to do it too, right?
Exactly.
And so that's you as a team leader have to also, when you're setting style guides and you want things, if you can't even do it, you can't expect anybody else to do it. And you can see here I'm failing miserably just with that alone, right? So I think now that once we retrieve it, we update it, right? Update the last pong, send the message, update the last ping. Now, this here isn't time.now sub.
Yeah.
This is going to be the tlastpong.sub con dot. There should be a last ping here. Last ping, but I don't see it in this thing. So that's a con. Oh, okay. Remember what we did here.
Oh, it's there.
Okay. So we have to fix users now to give us the last ping as well. Okay, so we get a last ping, we get a last pong, and instead of doing current, we'll show the last ping, right? Even that, we can just shorten this up by going ping pong here, right? So now this shouldn't happen anymore because the ping pong should have a good sort of sub. Now, one other thing we could do to help with logging too. Right? We do
Okay.
that. So if we are going to drop them, at least we'll also know the sub sort of time. Now, again, info isn't handling this really well as a string, which is a bummer. So later on, we could use a funct printf and tell it to give it to me as a string. I don't want to do that right now. But at least this should be better. Ping pong there. And ping pong. Okay, let's try it. I will argue that this shouldn't happen anymore. Okay. Yeah, shouldn't happen anymore. Let's try it. So the problem was we were using current time instead of the last ping time, which was going to cause us problems as the system got
it. Okay.
loaded anyway, because there's glare between the time these go-routines are sort of running and not running, right? So you can see here, we've got sub 9. The ping isn't being set. Look at the ping. I don't know what's going on there. Hold on. The ping wasn't being set. We did something bad. We did it there. Let's double check our logic for Ping wasn't being set. ID exists, do that, info, chat update, last ping. I don't see that getting called. Do you see that getting called?
I don't.
I don't see it getting called. Why did I not save this file?
No, it was saved.
So we should have seen started. We should have seen,
Started.
we saw, I didn't see sending. Nothing up here says ping, that would be bad. I see this. So we removed it. And that's because when we sent the, okay, let's slow down a second here. The system's, oh, there was no time set yet for the latest ping.
Oh.
It starts in its zero value state. Remember, we talked about that yesterday too.
Yes.
So when we add a user, when we add this chat user, where is that in chat here? That's during the handshake.
There it is.
So that bothers me a little bit. I'm wondering, like, okay, question. I mean, when we add a user, should this be the responsibility of the this caller? I mean, it's a brand new user, right? In other words, if I did this, if I did this, that would have eliminated any mistake here. I know it's exported fields, and I know they can absolutely set it, and maybe there's a little misuse and fraud there. But this is a control mechanic. But then again, you know what? It's not its responsibility. The job of this is just to do what?
Add the user.
Just to add the user.
Yeah.
The responsibility of this ping logic is here. So my brain went into the direction of, if it was in add, it wouldn't have happened, but it's not add's responsibility to deal with chat logic. This is chat logic, Bill. It belongs here, right? It does. That was a mistake.
Got it.
It happens to me, but I recovered. So this time, we should be fine, because the very first time it runs, they're going to be the same, right? Okay, so ping. We updated the last ping to be this. The pong came in, and you had a difference of, where's the pong? We did, oh, I don't show the difference unless there's a pong. So we updated it. Ping, last pong. I mean, we could log, if we wanted to, on the pong. Again, this is all noise at the end of the day. When we start wanting to deal with the other logic, there's going to be noise. Now, this is kind of when people start saying, instead of this being info, it can be debug level. Either you need it or you don't, is always my sort of thing here. So you see here on the Pong, what we could do on the Pong side is once we retrieve the user, if I go back and take the user information, all right. Again, I don't know if we need it if everything's working, but user, you now have a sub sort of thing here, okay? Then we could log sort of the sub between those two, but it's just more noise, man.
Yeah, if it's noise anyway.
And this is working now, right? It hasn't bugged out. Plus, we could always look in the log and see what the last ping was, which was 11:33.3, and then we find the last pong was 11:33.80. Right? We're now within that sort of 10-second window, which is what we were looking for. You would have had to miss basically almost 2 pings. So we've solved this problem. We now have ping-ponging going on, and it was because we were using now instead of the time that we sent the ping
Between the pings
to
and
do the
pong.
math. Yeah. So that was sort of the problem here. And now you can see this is all sorts of noise here, right? All sorts of noise here. So what we could do just to, I've never done this before. I normally wouldn't do this. And I think I run the log in a info sort of space here. But I would want at least started completed. Let me put this back for a second. The problem is that you want at least to know it started and completed. You want to know if it failed. So the Pong side of things, but we're seeing a log for the update is the real problem, right? The chat update. So anytime we're adding a user or updating a user, we're seeing that. Now, maybe we can go sort of debug level on all this stuff here. See if I do that and we rerun it. Now we should just see ping started. I should still see a ping. Oh, we gotta wait 10 seconds for the first ping. You know, and if I make a connection, I had a request started, that's good. We started a handshake, that's good.
So debug only shows you.
If I move the server in debug mode,
Oh, okay.
which is at main, then we would see debug lines, which I would never want to run in production. But if we needed to debug this again, so what do we want to see in debug? In production, I would just want to make sure that pings and pongs are sort of happening.
Yeah, and they're
more
completed.
than anything else, right? So I could argue that even on the chat side, from a pong perspective, I wouldn't necessarily need to see. I'd like to know that a pong came in for a given user, right? So like this is started completed, okay? But maybe for an info level sort of log, right? Something I'd want to see in production. Now I'd want to see what we had done before here. So if I take this and I do this,
User, sub.
all right, and put that in an info level. I'd always want to see errors, but I don't need to see started and completed. This would be enough for me on the info level. And then the same thing here. If I do debug now, right, then I could just say that I'm sending that. So now watch how clean the logs get at an info level, which from my perspective will be production level sort of logging now, right? So if I reconnect now, and we just watch this, now we'll just see ping sending and received, right?
Okay, yeah.
And we can see, now it looks like I'm doing the subtraction wrong, like so that shouldn't be minus,
Yeah.
which might mean that we're doing something wrong down there too on there. But last pong minus last ping, why would that be? It's t minus u. The pong shouldn't be greater than the Whoa. G minus U. Did we do this wrong? Like my brain's thinking about this wrong.
Reversed, you're saying?
I'm glad we did this because my brain says that it shouldn't be minus, it should be plus.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about that wrong. G minus U. I guess the older date is, yeah, now it's, I thought about it wrong in terms of older date, younger date, right? The ping is an older date than the pong.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
there was another little
okay,
bug
okay.
there. So it's ping minus, of course, ping minus pong, duh, right? But now we know that this was 2 second sub, that's a 9 second. We're like right on the edge of that.
10-second.
That's scaring me right there, right? Which is interesting because if you see the sending happened at this time. And you know what? That's not in seconds though. So that's also confusing us. So if we're gonna log this stuff, because time is done in a duration of nanoseconds. So if we're gonna log this stuff, unfortunately, we've gotta log it as a string, and this thing is not sort of doing that for us at all. So what we might wanna do is a func.sprintf. Which is a real bummer. Now I need the sub there, but what is this complaining about? Use string instead of use string. What? I don't know what string is. That one I don't understand.
Oh, like that.
Oh, dude, I didn't even know that existed. Oh, wow. You know what? I didn't even know that existed. Nice. I was like, what is it talking about? String.
So then we should probably do it in the actual
Well, no, because I only need it to log. So I could just do it here. I mean, yeah, we could do that if you want.
for consistency.
For consistency, sure. Yeah. Here now, we'll get an actual sort of number with a right.
Yeah, not a scientific number.
Yeah, because that number wasn't, it was all in like nanoseconds and stuff. Yeah, Mohammed, you know, I'm getting old, man. So now we're looking at 5 seconds, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that should always be sort of sub 10 seconds. So this, that's the ping. That's the pong. See, that doesn't make sense to me, dude.
5404. 04. The next one should be 1414.
I know, but this is the ping and this is the pong, right? So that minus that is not 9 seconds. So there's still something weird, dude. Something really weird there. Let's just log it one more time here. You know, this stuff isn't rocket science, dude. Yet here we are in rocket science land. Ping. And pong. And that's on the pong side. Oh, ping pong. Yeah, that's fine. So that would have been the last ping. That would have been the last pong there. Fine. And we could do this here too. I feel like I'm missing something, man. I mean, we shouldn't be spending this much time on this. When this pong happens, don't know why I'm missing something. This is when like I just feel like I'm getting old, man. Like, what am I missing? Here's the Pong. Pong is 6 seconds. And that was a 39 on the Pong and 45 on the ping. All right, let me take this line and bring it in the editor real quick. I want to look at this one. Okay. That's when we sent the ping.
Seconds.
Wait a second.
And that's an earlier time.
Why would the... Dude. What is wrong with our Pong value? The Pong value should always be... Am I doing something with... Yeah, I don't know. The Pong should never be smaller than the ping, dude.
Why wouldn't it? If a Pong came in, if a Pong came
Because-
back, and then the next ping went.
No. Something's wrong in my head here. We send a ping first. Agreed?
Yeah.
We send a ping first. So I'm updating the last ping here. Agreed?
Yeah.
So the ping, let me bring this down here. Bro, I feel like an idiot right now. The ping happens first, then the Pong.
Yes.
Yet, from a time perspective, the Pong happened first.
Is that the last ping and the last Pong?
Oh.
That's why I'm saying if it's the last ping and then the Pong comes after when you take the log.
Okay. Shit's hard, man. It's the last ping. So we sent a ping. We haven't gotten back the Pong for it yet. Dude, this is crazy.
Well, a Pong happened, and then the next ping was sent out. And then that's why it's later. So then here, there would have been another Pong coming above it. This is the way I'm thinking.
Right. The way I'm reading this is here we sent a ping. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we received a Pong,
Which would be at a later time.
which is at this time. But the ping would have been at this time, which it was. So the ping was at 11:46:35. Are we not updating the... Oh, we're such idiots. We're such idiots.
We're not updating before the log.
Dude, we gotta update before we do anything else. Oh. So now, okay. We gotta update first, bro. We're using the wrong time on the Pong. Now, here's something interesting to me. We could change update last Pong. Since we're already in a lock, to return a user, right? Oh, a chat. Come on. Funny, dude. we could use this to return a chat user. Instead of having to do another. Watch. Oh my God, dude. That was. If I do this, I don't need this. Just get it back. We already did the work. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then we do the sub after we update the Pong, and now the numbers should be
They should
tight,
make sense.
right? Pong should be larger than ping. Like that. By the time, I don't know. Let's just keep it. I'm going to keep it, and we're going to look at it. But we should do that. When we update the ping, I don't need the user at that point. You know what I'm saying? We already have a set of connections. So that could just be an error. But on the update, then we need the latest time. Oh my God, dude. We've been using the old Pong number because we're checking it after.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. I have felt like a complete idiot for the last 20 minutes. See, now it should be the way I thought it should be.
Yeah, it should be the opposite.
Now it should be. That's what my brain said. This made no sense to me. Right? That I should be subtracting the Pong from the ping. Remember I said, like, my brain said that makes no sense to me. But it's all because we weren't updating it. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God, I just want to go to bed. This is embarrassing. Nobody should listen to me ever again. You see, now we're sub.
Yeah, now
we're microseconds on pings and pongs.
it's not 10 seconds almost.
No, dude, none of that made any sense. Now we're microseconds, right there. So now when we look at, we're logging this here, right, on info here. Okay, this is finally working because we're updating and then using the right time. So we were using a whole Pong before that.
No, now it's consistent.
Yeah.
Just boom, boom,
And
boom.
even this to me is noise, right? Like total noise here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this into a debug as well, and this into a debug as well, and just keep the errors at an info level, because we now know this is working, and we can switch to a debug level for this stuff. This is all noise, but we know it's working now.
Yeah.
I don't need to see started, completed. I don't need to see sort of that noise. I don't need to see this noise. But if there's an error anywhere in and around it, then we should see that. Okay, we made all this sort of debug too. So now we shouldn't see anything while we we'll see our started and completed. We shouldn't see any noise on pings and pongs unless we sort of need to see that. But if I kill this client, we should have seen client disconnected. Okay, I'm gonna do the following.
Let's push that.
Commit -m fixed ping pong. Whoa. Whoa.
Just a placement.
Oh my
issue.
God, this was
That
like going to
it.
be the 5-minute thing to do. And we just royally just made this nasty. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, nobody should ever listen to me ever again. So we've got this done. Now, the one thing we weren't doing was logging messages as they were coming in and out.
Yeah.
So let's go back and at least do that. And then we'll make sure we can talk to each other now.
Yeah.
And then go back to this whole cap to cap. I'm exhausted, bro. Like none of the math was adding up there. And it shouldn't have been that complicated. It shouldn't have been that complicated we don't need this in here either. All right, we'll get that though. None of this should have been that complicated. And it was all because this was happening after.
Yeah, we were updating after we logged it.
Okay, remember when I said that this subtraction's wrong? Okay, whatever. So I want to have some info logging for messages coming in and out of the system here. So a couple things. We could keep the messaging logging really raw here, right? What we could do here, and even take the type. I could do a c.log.info context receive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we can just say, I don't need the status, but we can do type, we can do message, and let's just say if there was an error. But here I'll do lowercase because, and there may be no error there, and that's fine. So at least we have some information about a message coming in here.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the user piece. So we already have a user for this too, right?
Yeah.
So we could do username.
Do we need the name or just the ID?
Just the ID, honestly. Like a name at the end of the day isn't going to mean anything to us, right? But at least we have an ID with that too. Okay. Now normally I would never want to take an if statement away from the read, but I kind of want to just log that in a very raw way instead of trying to do it twice. So we just do that. I could do it with a defer too, but this would be an exception to normally not tightening up the if to that. The other option, if we wanted to be smarter, would be to do this and that.
Take out the error, yeah.
Take out the error, and then I don't know if now we got 2 log lines instead of just the one sort of raw one, but at least we know there's no error because we don't have to look at nil. So I don't know. I feel like the other one. I'm going to save this for a second, but like from a readability standpoint, it's so much cleaner, right? There's a lot of noise in the other one, so I'm going to leave it. On the send, we could do the same thing. Now, there would be a security risk of logging the message itself.
Yeah.
Like, we really shouldn't be logging sort of the message that came in and out. That would be a security sort of bug. So I think we can at least say do that. Now, type a message. We always know the type of message is going to be dot. How do we even set a send message? Oh, we do it in that function there. Let me see something in here. Oh, that's a Gorilla thing. Text message by default. Text message. So, but we won't see the error in this case. It'll come back as an error, right? So at least we see this, right? Like we sent this person sent a text message.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a message sent. And then this was a message sort of receive. And now in this case though, we can say Oh, so this is the 2, right? 2, we could say from, and we know from is,
Well, we have a 2 ID, or
oh no, the
we
from.
have a 2 ID and an ID.
Yeah.
So that should be the from.
Oh, the message is the 2 ID. Oh, dude, how many times a day do I do that? And the 2 is the user ID. Yeah. So 2 and from, right? We should do the same thing in here. We know this ID is 2. And we don't know who it's from because we haven't been able to decode it yet, is the real problem. You know? So maybe if I go back to this for a second, if we put the logging in here, and I forget about type for now, forget about errors for now, then I can do a 2, which is the user. Let me think. No, the user is reading the message, right? So it was to this user.
It's from.
But it's going to be from. See, this is raw, isn't it? This read message returns a raw message. We don't have enough sort of logging here. And everywhere that it's used in handshake, it's used in listen. And this is where it gets unmarshaled, you know? So I'm wondering if the logging, we take the logging out of here, leave this raw for a second, all right? Leave that alone. And we should be doing it sort of here. Message received to from is the end message. Why am I getting this backwards? Listen, in message. Oh, because that's who it's going to. Dude, why do I have this backwards in my head? When we listen to a message, oh, it could be going to anybody. The point is, who is this message going to? Oh, it's from this connection. Okay, it's from this connection. And it's going to this person. The from is who's sort of listening. So that's a message received. We're going to fix this stuff up in a bit. So now I'm wondering that, if we get rid of this for a second, who's calling send message? Well, send message is only there. Okay. So this is the problem right now, because we're going to have to rip this out a little bit. But
Okay.
if we do message received from to, we'll see both of these in the same log. We don't have to do anything on the send side,
Yeah.
because then the other side will receive it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kind of redundant.
Kind of redundant to see it in both ways right now. But that should be enough to say message from to, and at least see it. All right, let's try this, and then we're going to go back to the other stuff here. Okay, so we're going to run this again. I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to split this.
Yep.
Okay, this is going to do a make hack 0. This is going to do a make hack 1.
Yep.
Our thing is really bad too, but hello 0. So let's see what we got in the logs now. Message received.
From 8A45 to 8C. Yeah, that's right.
But I should see this. Oh, I don't see it twice.
No.
I don't see it twice. So we do want to do this. right? The user and the in message. That's weird to me. Why is my brain not working? This is the person who sent the message,
Yeah.
right? This was 8A4. So it was from 8.4 and it went to them. And they received it.
Yeah. Why do we need to see it twice?
Because I want to see in the log that we sent a message too. You know what I'm saying?
But if they received it, then we know we sent it.
I know, bro, but it's you want to see both sort of things happening. So we received a message that's supposed to go from them to, but we're not even sharing that we sent a message from. It just feels disconnected that we didn't send it. So again, this logic is in one place, but very soon it's not going to be in one place. That's the problem. That's sort of where we're going.
Got it. Okay.
So let me do that. Let me do that. Hello, 0. So I can see we received a message and then we sent a message. Because this is going to be disconnected very soon. Very, very, very soon it's going to be disconnected. Oh, hi there. I know it feels the same, but very soon this might be on 2 different servers.
Oh, okay.
And suddenly we're like, oh, where's the send? The send didn't go through.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. So if it's sent but it wasn't received and things like that.
Very soon that's going to happen.
Okay.
So I think now we've got this done as well. Okay. So I'm going to push this code up now. Some basic sort of logging for message handling. All right. So now let's do the following. We have the following now working. We've got our pings and our pongs finally working. Boy, that should not have taken as long as it did. Let's see under chat. We've got pings and pongs working, right? We've talked about all this stuff, but we're kind of here. Oh, I thought I wanted a simpler version anyway.
That's what we were going to be doing was...
Yeah, I'm just looking to see what else we've drawn. Like this is the bigger one, but we just sort of come in here for a second. Or maybe we draw another diagram to see where we are. Okay, let's just draw another diagram. So sort of where are we right now? Let me just go small. There's a way to... I know, I thought we had another diagram in here, that's why. So if I were to just take this for a second and move it over here. What do we have right now? We kind of have this world where we've got a single cap, all right, that has 2 clients connected to it.
Yep.
Like this. And they're able to send a message back and forth.
Yeah.
This is what we've got. And we've got the pinging and the ponging all sort of working. And we can essentially add a 3rd client if we wanted to. Because if we added a 3rd client, let's go to our SDK chat for a second. Everything happens in listen here, right? When a message comes in, we unmarshal it. And then if we call send this message, what does send message do? It retrieves the user, and then it sends it. Okay? So it's send message that's kind of trying to figure out who are we sending this message to, right? It's the lower level. Just like read just does a lower level sort of block and then brings back the raw message, send is doing that. Now, the first question I ask myself And I think it's why I was getting confused. Should send message be more raw, right? Or should it do this call? In other words, like, get rid of this for a second. And I say from to user. Come on, right? If I do that for a second. And move this.
To
Right.
listen.
So
Okay.
that's your from, that's your to. In message to ID. And we're in a for loop here, so if there's an error on the retrieve, I don't like this.
Retrieve.
Okay, so what have I done here on listen now? A message comes in, right? A message comes in, we unmarshal it. We log that unmarshaling. We don't know much about it other than this. Now, ideally, it would be nice, again, a security issue here, but that would be a security issue because there could be
Yeah.
secret stuff in there, but we don't know other than that, we wouldn't know why it unmarshaled. Okay, so bad, but let's just keep it for a minute. Maybe not bad. Let's don't do anything bad. But then we log from and to. Then we go look to see if we can find the to. And then we make send message a little bit more sort of raw.
Yeah, it has one job.
It has
One
one
thing.
job to do, right? It doesn't even take a context anymore, which is a bummer because all this writing should, right? It can't take forever. That's why we did all this work in here, remember?
Yeah.
So we can sort of, if this was blocking, we wouldn't be able to shut down the server and maybe we fix that problem later. Let's add a note to potentially make send message context aware, right? It would be good, I think, to have that. But while we're here, so the user, now, what do we call this? From for now.
From.
This is, in this logic, everything is, this is what it's coming, who it's coming from, right?
Yeah.
Which again is gonna help, I don't know, my brain with this, because I keep getting confused on what?
On from and to.
From
to
and to, right?
To and from.
So read a message from Bob, from in message is the in message, but that has the to ID. We retrieve it and then we send it out. But I don't think send message should have been doing this sort of retrieval,
Yeah.
but I think listen can, because it's a larger level sort of function, right? We had our read again is very raw,
Yeah.
and we can shut it down. I think we're gonna have to do that with send to be able to shut it down if the context is canceled. I've added that as a note. And then we've got our ping and we've got our sort of pong here, right? And even this, right? We could have done max wait time dot duration. Feels more of a configuration, even if we're hard coding it in there right now, right? That's fine. So we love the handshake. We love our ability to set the Pong handler. And now it's starting to simplify again. We now have listen. So message comes in, we unmarshal it, we see if we know if we have that user, and if we do, we send the message, right, over the connection that we have established.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go back to a Excali draw, right? If this is the from in our scenario right now,
2.
and this is the 2, and they're connected to the same server, well, our logic works really well here, right?
Yeah.
Read, unmarshal. Now,
Retrieve, send.
this really needs to kind of be in its own sort of world. That right there. The listen belongs here because we're establishing a socket connection here.
Okay.
Okay. But what if that retrieve fails? What if we don't have that person? Okay, then we return an error, which the only error this retrieve could return, if we look at our implementation, this is why I hate interfaces sometimes. Where's our retrieve?
There at the bottom.
Not exists, right? We'd get that user not exists. So, but all that means is that it doesn't exist for us, right?
Yeah.
So, what if we start in a second to sort of The question is, if we don't find it, what is it that we want to do? At that point, the idea would be to add this sort of bus here. I want to add some form of a bus here. We don't know anything else about what's going on in the bus, right? We know that this cap is connected to it.
Yeah.
But that's all we know. Once we send it to the bus, we have no idea if this is going to be delivered or not. We don't know. We don't know because we don't really know
Yeah, there's going to be another cap.
if that 2 even exists, right? Because now we're talking about sort of this scenario here. Talking about this scenario.
Yeah.
We don't know if the 2 even exists. We know that the 2 isn't connected to us. It may be connected to something else. So for our perspective here, if we retrieve this user and we have it, we can send the message.
Yeah. If we
Okay.
don't have it, then
But if we don't have it,
we're sending the
ideally,
message to nothing.
if error is not exists, then
Copilot going off the rails.
yeah, Copilot's going crazy. Then what we want to do is call another function called c dot send send a bus, for lack of a better word right now,
Okay.
right? I mean, ideally, that's what we want to do, right? If it comes in and we don't have a user, and it's because the user does not exist, it means it's not connected to us,
Yeah.
then we want to send this message to the bus
Okay.
and see if any other cap potentially connected to the bus knows anything about that user.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like it's going to be waiting.
We ain't gonna wait. We're just gonna send it to the bus, and that's it.
So
But-
the bus is going to act like a waiting room, essentially,
No,
to see if they connect again.
no, it's not going to act as a waiting room. It's going to be, think of it more as fabric, where we're just going to take the message, we're going to send it to this bus, and we're going to send and forget, fire and forget. At this point, there's nothing I can do about it.
So it just gets lost.
Well, from our perspective, it's not lost. We gave it to the bus. What the bus is going to do is take this message and send it to any cap that's currently connected to it without any real intelligence. But we don't want it to send it back to us. We already know we don't have it. But think of it this way. The bus gets it, says, okay, I got it from cap A, no problem. I'll just send it to cap B and C and D. And hopefully one of them have a 2 connected to them. It's just message passing
Okay.
blindly because we don't have any intelligence here to know who's connected. Now, you want to add intelligence at some point, then the bus could track who's connected to which, right?
Okay.
Where once somebody connects and we add, right, we also send it to the bus. And we tell the bus, hey, I've got this user. So if a message comes in for this user, send it to me. Like we could add intelligence to the bus at some point. But to just keep it simple right now, a first version, when the bus receives a message, it just,
Whatever's connected to it.
other than back to ourselves, hopefully,
Yeah.
hey, this is for you. Or maybe you can handle this. That creates a lot of noise. And so another version eventually could be to give the, but eventually what I want this to be is NATS. And NATS isn't going to have any idea of tracking that kind of stuff. So this is going to be super fast anyway. So what we can do right now is build an internal bus that is going to act like NATS to start.
Okay.
Okay? It's going to know who's connected to it. It knows who's connected to it. And it then just passes messages, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
so
Just
everywhere.
real simple, right? We could do that. Or, maybe just for a time perspective, bringing NATS in really isn't a big deal. We just I have to remember how to use its API. But we could get it up and running fairly quickly, which maybe is the better use of our time than trying to build something we don't need. So, let me save this. So for me, the idea here is this is just going to send it to the bus.
Okay.
And that's it. We're
Yeah.
done, right? Send it to the message bus, basically. And then we're done. Whatever this logic is, the logic is. But in our case, it will be NATS. But once we do that, now we're able to fulfill this sort of idea. And you don't want to build this yourself. I mean, this problem has been solved pretty well with NATS. So I think the next thing for us to do, and this is it right here. We don't have to change anything more than retrieve, not send it to the bus, right? There's going to also be another function we'll have to write. And I don't know what that looks like but again, I don't know what it looks like yet.
From bus. Okay.
From
yeah.
bus, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it like this from now. But there's going to be something we're going to have to set up that's listening for messages, right? In messages. It's basically going to be listen, essentially, right?
Yeah.
But the read message is going to be read bus, right? And then we're going to unmarshal this. And then we're going to retrieve. If it fails that, then we don't do anything. And then we do a send. So we're going to have a version of listen, which is going to be more like listen bus. That's going to do essentially the same thing. And based on how we work with NATS, that might be in a loop or it might be an event that gets fired or something.
Got it.
But we're going to do all the same things in listen bus, right? Read the message from the bus, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's all the same. So we need sort of these two functions. All right, so this is what we're going to do next. We're back in a state of, that's a minor refactoring. We're back in a state of unknown. So it's time to play with Nats. So we're going to do a couple things. We're going to go download the Nats container. We'll add some stuff in our make file to be able to start that container up and down. We'll need it running anytime we're going to work on this locally.
Okay.
You know, at that point, we could also start building our cap into a container and run everything in Compose. But we don't have to go that crazy right now. We just need Nats sort of up and running. So one thing I will add, we'll add a Docker here. Actually, we should do it. This is specific to chat anyway, right? So I can put it here. Chat, Docker. Now, if I go up to Docker Hub, and we look for Nats, there it is. I like when they put the latest tags here in the overview, so I can sort of see that. I don't like necessarily using latest if we can avoid it, just for stability. You can see here they've got a 210 Scratch. A 210 Alpine is probably good enough for us. I don't need anything fancy. So, and then we've got some example usage, so we'll leverage this in our make file here. Okay, so I say that we pull, let's pull 210 Alpine. I think that one's going to be as good as, I don't usually play with the patches. I do just major minor. And
okay,
then,
so you don't go with like 10
no,
dot, you stay with 10.
No, I'll do 2.10, but I won't do 2.10.2.3.
Yeah.
Like, that's a nightmare. Yeah. When 11 comes out, then I'll update 11. But it looks like they're using Alpine as the main OS. So I think if we do 2.10 Alpine, in other words, we do Docker pull, and it will be
2.10.
Nats. Yeah, Nats. Should be, yeah, I didn't need to do that either. Oh, if I just do Nats, I just don't know which one I'm going to get. So I'd rather do the tag.
It would probably go
Oh,
to
you see,
latest.
210. We could just do this. Nats, 210. Like, that's perfect. Right? We'll just, that's sort of their latest version. I don't have to go crazy with anything else. Why they have all the other ones, I don't know. So let me just try to do that locally. Okay, so we pulled that down. I'm always doing Docker system prune to just clean up disk space. And then if I do Docker images, we now have, I must have had Nats already. So like 3 weeks ago, they updated the 210.
Okay.
Okay. Then all we need is that run command, right? Which is their basic one here. But I think we're going to want to use Jetstream, to be honest with you.
What would be the difference here?
We have to look it up again, man. But I think the Jetstream is what gives us some of the feature functionality we want.
Okay.
To persist Jetstream, I think the Jetstream gives us persisted messages.
Oh.
So
yeah.
you know, they don't get lost. But if you want to, if we don't want to lose what we're persisting, you can see how they've but we don't need any of that. When we shut it down, it's fine for me. But let's at least run with Jetstream, and then we can sort of look that up. So that's the Docker for the pull. And if we add a Nats, we can do that. And then looks like we're listening on port 42222. And then we can do a chat nats down. And yeah, that's fine. Docker stop nats. And then I always do a Docker remove with a V just in case there's volumes involved and stuff. So now we'll just stop it. We'll just have to remember to stop it. We're going to have to remember to start it as well.
Yeah.
You know, but we could, there's ways of auto magically starting it too. But if we do it this way, we'll have the logs with it. So what that would mean then is just for what we're doing right now. Let's say open up another thing here. Change directory, Ardan. So if I put Docker here, make chat nats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did it just, it shouldn't have downloaded Docker images. I saw I didn't find latest, but I don't want it run.
You have two nats there. You have a latest and
Yeah.
210.
Did I not specify? Oh, I should have done
210.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So let me just to run it anyway. Nats down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't running anyway. In that mode, it's not running in the background anyway, but
Got it. Okay.
I think we have to do that. So if I start it now, yeah, that's better. Now I've got the Docker there anyway, but it's the same one anyway. I'm just gonna leave it, the stuff I can clean up later. All right, so Nats is now up and running, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not a Docker guru, so I'm gonna look at one more thing. I don't think it will let me do this, but where's Nat's latest? Let me do this for a second. Docker remove image. Unable to delete, must be forced. Images referenced. I know, bastards. So Nat's latest. I don't know if it'll let me do this either. Oh, untagged. Docker images. Good. I just hate seeing it there if we don't need it. Now if I start it, I just like keeping things clean, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good now. Okay, so we've got Nat's Jetstream running. What we now need to do is build a little hack. I'm gonna call it hack because we're not gonna keep it. And file main.go and package main, function main, whatever. And you know me, I like doing the run function. I don't like panics. I like log.fatals, whatever the error is.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll do a run, turning an error.
Run function.
And yep, we'll do that. Okay, it's kind of like the framework I always use.
Okay.
Okay, we got Jetstream running. We've got to learn a few things. We got to learn how to send a message and receive a message, and then send 10 messages and sort of receive 10 messages. And once we learn how to do that, we know how to then build a new package that will leverage Nats to let us finish that last sort of bit of code that we need, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, I'm curious.
Copilot.
I don't know if it knows anything about Nats, but with the new model there, I wish there was a way to clear this window because it's always like,
Maybe if you right click in there, new chat.
what does edit mean?
Set of files. Oh, it's like to work with multiple files.
Yeah, I don't know what this is doing. All right, I can't right click on it anymore, so I'll learn it one day. Okay. How do you send and receive messages using NATS Jetstream? Let's see how this works. Okay, we need a NATS Go client. That's easy. We have a NATS server already. We need to create a Jetstream context, publish messages, and subscribe. So, oh man, this is badass right here.
Now
bro.
it's giving you a little more.
I used NATS on another project, and I remember it was tricky. Like this Jetstream is supposed to have made it easier, but I do remember it was.
I'm sure you can ask it to give you an example implementation so you can look at it.
Yeah. So
And that'll probably
give me an example of connecting and subscribing to messages in NATS. Yeah, I don't think it may not have it. So we,
this file has what you need.
oh wait, it's in here?
Yeah, it's generating a file
Oh,
for you.
shoot. Is that what I did here when I,
Yeah,
oh,
it created a main.go.
oh, dude, I didn't even know that. Okay,
So now it's not connect.
let me take this. Let me take this. I thought it was gonna give it to me in the window like it did last time.
No, it's because we're in edit mode, so it's actually writing the files.
I see. How did I get into this mode though? Oh, add working set.
Yeah, like if you added this main.go file, it would work in this file, basically.
I just don't know what edit means.
Maybe try that. There, now you're back to where you were.
Oh, and
That's
this
the
is
edit
a working set.
Yeah, that's
Oh, it's editing code as opposed to
Yes.
chatting with code.
that's the chat.
I see. I see. And there's just no way to clear this window.
No. Like right click there. How you did before to get to the edit.
Yeah, but that was in this other mode here, so I don't know. I don't know, dude. It just drives me crazy that I can't. It's like my brain, for my brain, right? For most people, nobody cares. But for my brain, it's, this is noise to me now. Like, I need it gone. So I'm going to have to, when we're done with that recording today, sort of figure out how you, oh,
There it is.
there it is. There was an X there. Okay, let's go back to this. Oh man, I got rid of the import we needed. So let me do it again. Provide an example of connecting to NATS Jetstream and creating a subscription, right? I don't know why I like this mode better, but I needed this right here.
Now it's making the edits to.
No, it's just giving it to me in here, which I think is better. All right, so if I take this, put this in here, and we have to do a make tidy for this. Do a make tidy. Okay. Then we can connect to our NATS, create a Jetstream, context, whatever that is, add a stream named updates, subscribe to the receive a message received. So oops. That's a subscribe, but I don't think you can send a message on the subscription side, right? That's a subscribe. So, how do you send a message in NATS using Jetstream?
Publish. Okay.
I'm assuming that's a blocking call.
Publish. Subscribe sync. Sub next message. Okay. So it's above. Yep, right there.
Subject. Oh, pop back. Okay, so that's publishing a message. So it would be interesting if this worked, right? If we see hello Jetstream at the end of this, that would be pretty interesting. Oh, I should have done that. Do not ask you for this file there. Okay, so what I can do right now is just type in hack and edit copy relative path. Go run this. Okay. So we do have it running already. So what if we do a make? Woo! That's pretty good. This is why I like the NAT shit. Just worked, right? Received message. So this is a blocking call. There it is. It blocks until one is available. That's fine. Again, I wish it had instead of using a context, you can see how old school this is. It uses a timeout instead of a context. But there's a next message with context, which would be better for us, right?
Yeah.
Because we'll just say with timeout the thing comes with a cancel.
Defer, cancel.
Okay, so that's better, right? So we've got that. This is also a blocking call, which isn't necessarily bad, because that's going to act like our listen already does. Blocks on the receive and unless the cancel, right? The context is canceled. So that's beautiful. Instead of updates, you know, we'll call this cap, right?
Okay.
And then we can send JSON over this thing, and you're kind of done. So we should be able to, it should be able to work one more time. Okay, good. Now, there's other things that we need to, at some point, set up. You got names and subjects. That's fine. Retention policies. We want to make sure this message gets sent to anybody that subscribes, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's not a retention issue. I don't know about that. We're gonna have to, there's another way to test this. Let's create some go routines. One go
Okay.
routine to send and 2 go routines to receive. Make sure they both get the message.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? We need at least that. You see all the settings here?
Yeah. There's a lot.
There's a lot. And only one needs to add the stream. So let's hack on this a tiny bit more. So let's write a function called init. Not init cap. Oh, I can't do that. I'm just gonna call create right now.
Okay.
Create's gonna do. Stop trying to help me. Okay, it's gonna do this. Okay. All right. So that's create. I'm gonna put it down here for a second. So the very first thing we're gonna need to do on run is if create, just return error for now. So we're hacking.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the next function that I want to write is the publish function.
So it'll be create, publish,
Now,
and subscribe.
right, but they're going to have to do the same thing. You're going to connect, you're going to create a jet stream, and you're going to publish a message. Okay? Each one gets to connect its own little client.
Okay.
That's going to be publish
Oh.
and receive.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're doing now.
Receive is going to have to do the same. Just connect, jetstream, subscribe,
Subscribe to cat.
message received. Right. That's going to be a receive. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set up a wait group. Sync.wait group. I'm going to add 2 to this wait group.
Mm-hmm.
I am then going to create 2 go routines. I want it to receive. Okay with everything so far, other than the fact that receive needs to, okay, it's printing the message out, right? I mean, we're hacking, so,
Yeah.
so that's fine. I would say we do this twice. All right, so it's in a receive. Then we'll call publish, and we'll wait for those 2 things to die. I have no logging here, so I don't know what's going to fail. But let's just try this first. We may have to add some wrapping here to know this was an error in publish and not in publish, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't want to be completely, I hit the wrong button. Fat fingering a lot today. Fine. And then receive. It's all going to work, and this was a waste of time, but, right? Okay. And then it's just logging that it received. So we should see it twice. if this works. And then the program will shut down. All right. Now the program will hang if we only get it once. Well, whatever, I'll hit Control C on that. Let's see. Oh, so it is already set up to send it to both anybody that's subscribed with
okay.
these settings the way they are.
Yeah.
That's what I was praying. So, and what that means is with these settings the way they are, we can get everything that we want. Because if I add 3 more go routines to this, let's say, right?
Just have it repeat 5 times. Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we need. We need any cap that subscribes to, any cap that subscribes.
To get the message, essentially.
Add stream, yeah. So this is an init process to make sure that we can create it. And then, yeah, the subscribe. So, bro, this is beautiful. All right, let's do the following. I'm gonna kill that. Docker PS, good. Git add, I'm gonna leave our little hack for now. Well, before I commit, let's do the following. We're basically out of time for today, which is fine. We went way over the last time, but let's talk about what we're going to be doing now. So we're going to be doing this with Nats.
Yep.
Right? As a note. So we have the hack program running with Nats. That's good. We just got to remember to turn it on. We can automate some of that later. But now it shouldn't be hard to do a cap-to-cap sort of communication. So at some point, we should be able to use ngrok to open a hole to my machine from yours. And anybody watching at that moment will connect to.
Oh.
Right? But what we're going to do first is this. We're going to get this working, okay, on my machine. Then we get that working on my machine. We got to refactor the client, because the moment I use ngrok, everybody and their mom on the stream is going to try to build and connect. In fact, we're going to ask them to. But we need a decent client to work,
Yeah.
right, with the unique ID of something. So when we get back on Tuesday next week, we get that working. We clean up the little Go client so it's working pretty decently. Don't have to be great, but enough to where the big thing is giving everybody their own unique sort of ID. Now, the funny thing is that if we don't know somebody's ID, we can't send them a message. So they'll have to send me a message first or something. We'll figure all that out. And then we can, like, at that point, we can open up ngrok, at least try it between us and see what happens.
That would be cool.
But we got to open up an ngrok hole from your machine to Nats, not to the other cap. You just got to.
Just
now,
the Nats, yeah.
Now, here's the cool thing, though. We might not need to run Nats in the container because Nats public message system. There is, if I go and if I ask my friends over there, there is there's already out there actually a cloud instance of this running that I think that we can talk to.
Multi-cloud.
In other words, I don't have to run Docker, and I
Oh.
wouldn't have to run ngrok, because if we could just connect to their public, they have a public message bus, let's just call it that, already running out there.
Okay.
When these Nats guys are doing demos, they're not running a local container. They're hitting some public system out there.
Got it.
So
Okay.
I'm going to reach out to David Gee and figure out how I can access that for this next piece. Because if I can do that and not run it locally, then I don't need ngrok and things get really interesting. But I don't know if I need a key or something for that. So I'm going to find out before we come back on Tuesday if I could access that, and then we don't have to run the local container. But, oops, did I forgot to add something here? Services cap main. I never finished the commit, did I? Or the git. So git commit minus m, just some final notes for today. We get git push. Okay, so I had a good day today, dude.
Yeah,
I felt like a
yeah.
real idiot with the. Felt like an idiot with the ping
Rough start,
ping
but
pong,
we got
man.
there.
I shouldn't have taken that long. That's pretty bad. Nobody should ever hire me for a job after that. But you see how easy it was to use Nats. Somebody was asking me at one point, why Nats over Kafka? That's why. That's why. All right, so we pushed that code up. We're really close to almost finishing this project. We've got, I think, maybe at least two more lessons.
Okay.
And I think we have it working, and we can do one last refactoring the code. But essentially, we have it working, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if we'll need to do more. We'll see where we are next week, Thursday. And then we'll make a decision, because there's a whole list of apps that I want to build, and
Exactly.
but we've gotten there. So, all right, everybody. So for those of you that hung out, saw me struggle pretty badly this in the beginning, but we got it. We got it working. That's all I care about. So, all right, we're gonna sign off, and we'll see everybody again next week. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Oh.